Welcome to the videos where I show you all my books and discuss all my colored pictures. This one will be about adorable girls. Let's start from the book with which I didn't have very successful relationship. It's by Kevin Theo Art. Here we have nice portraits, but for me that's not the type of grayscale which I love. I managed to do one page simply because I absolutely love this Native American Sam, especially when we have such a beautiful headpiece. But then I realized that for me this kind of grayscale, well, in the end it's difficult to color hair. So I suppose to use only very dark colors. For such shading on faces, my portrait, it looked slightly dirty, even if I tried both brands, Prismacolors and Polychromos, more opaque, more transparent. So it wasn't very easy coloring. This one I love, but to continue, well, I'm not sure. Maybe if I just will need something very special for color alongs, for special Sam, so I will be only able to find in this book, maybe I will do it. Paper is average, thin Amazon paper, so also not very helpful for portraits. I keep the book, but I don't color in it now. Much better experience I had with books by Evelyn Vancoetsem. I currently have 3 of them. I love both Rose and Her Friends books, but second one is my favorite. Here shading is much more delicate. Books are mostly dedicated to children's portrait, and we start from the first one, which is probably my favorite. For this one I used polychromoses. I would say that on this paper they worked well. They successfully laid down on the grayscale. They don't create any dirt, just natural shading. So it was a big pleasure to color skin and hair, even for such unexperienced portraitist as I am. I always struggle with something apart from traditional color combo of beige red, cinnamon, maybe nougat also, and that's all I use for fair skin tone. But even with such limited skills, I think that this one is lovely. I love her hair, how they combine with the color of the frog. I also have this mermaid. Coloring of the girl, it was easy. Problem started when I do the background with markers. I didn't like this border which I achieved. I tried to save it a little bit with distress oxides. Then I also added a little bit of dots, also with stencil and distress oxide. So I barely managed to save the background. Apart from these troubles on the last step, I think that it's lovely. I love her hair. It was fun to do this fantasy color, and her lovely eyes. At least here I didn't have problems with the background. I do love when backgrounds are limited by such frames, so recently I started to add such round frames where the picture allows it. Here, you know that I love Egyptian Sam, so here I enjoyed her jewelry. With the grayscale it was slightly difficult to color all her braids, but I think that I managed to color them 3-dimensional, and I don't know, but I managed to do this cat. I think that now I wouldn't be able to repeat it. It was kind of moment of divine inspiration. The biggest problem I had here with the hawk, probably. Well, I did first layer, it was slightly flat, then I tried to add contrast with dark colors, but in the end I think that everything looks lovely. Even this strange golden background, actually it matches the Egyptian Sam. That was the first one where I started with this series of books, and well, I was totally confused how to do this very pale Japanese geisha style skin without adding any yellowish, brownish colors, and in the same time to add shadows. I didn't manage to do it. And the dragon also looks slightly creepy. I think that here, when I prefer to look at this part. All this beautiful jewelry, it's absolutely amazingly created by Evelyn. With second book, I had much more luck. The first one is this tiny girl and adorable ducklings. Next, this frame I added myself. I think that it really helped to balance the composition. And I think that here I also added that frame. In this book, that's probably my favorite. I love this young vampire princess. On the background, I hope you can see it's barely visible pattern made with stencil and light oxides. It created kind of effect of the velvet with embroidery. I love how I did it because when I first colored the girl, the bed, it looked slightly unfinished. Then I added this background and everything worked quite well. It was creative decision. I still remember how proud of myself I was when I finished this one. And finally, this tropical girl. I love to experiment with hairs in this book, so I did green, purple. Here are these more magenta colors, very lovely. And it's the third one. It's not about girls, but I have it, and it's more about animals. Here I did this peacock dressed as Marie Antoinette, very fashionable, very nice. I think that here I used a lot of pencils, from budget to more professional, and even liners and acrylic paint to achieve this effect of this portrait, but I think that everything worked quite well in the end. And now we are moving to the books which I color much more frequently now. The first one is by Nelco Neco. It's Girl with Cats. Adorable book. I was happy to discover that I can use not only pencils but also watercolors. It's not great for watercolor, but it's possible to use it. I actually started from this girl, maybe it's autumn pattern. I really love this combo of her more stylized Japanese pattern on the suit, and then this long velvet skirt. Colors for the girl, it was easy. I somehow immediately imagined those moss green and lime peel colors here, and they always look well with dahlia purple and similar colors. Then when I started to do the background, that's Prismacolor pencils. They work very well here. I decided to give second chance to my Mitsubishi Uno set of pencils which I own but never use because they are extremely demanding to paper quality. They have lovely colors, but I absolutely can't layer them. But in the beginning of the book, they were mentioned, suggested by the artist. Japanese pencils for Japanese book. I thought it's logical, so yes, at least for the backgrounds, I was able to use them, and it's a big thanks because I dislike when I have such a big set of pencils and I can't use it. So this background, and it's at least 3, maybe 4 pencils which I used here. Lovely gradient. I was able to use Mitsubishi Uno. So for the future, I definitely will count on this set and I will try to use it. Then I have this spread. I love Alice in Wonderland. I did pictures by many artists for this SEM, so of course I also wanted to do one by Nelco Neco. The main image I did with polychromasis. Everything was quite well, but then I started to test watercolors on the background. And well, watercolor, they don't bleed through, so no problems at all, but you need to control amount of water. Here you can see the result. If you leave water, those pools of water and pigment on the paper for a long time, you will have such stains, strong borders. I deliberately left them here. I wanted maybe this old, slightly unkept effect. But if you want more accurate coloring, you need to control water, to move pigment, to use limited amount of water. The same experience I had on the left side. I got several granulating watercolors. I wanted to use them, so I used them for the walls, for the bricks. Granulating effect wasn't very visible, and sometimes it's even created slightly dirty effect. Again, for my purposes, it was okay. But, well, for the future, I will remember that all those tricks with granulating watercolors, with wet-on-wet technique, definitely not for this paper. The best way to use it's quick underpaint with small amount of water, and then work with pencils, correct your mistakes. Just here on the floor, I left, everything was done with just one watercolor, burnt umber, and I left it. There were those stains again. I didn't mind. For me, it's even created kind of shadow here. But again, you need to be careful, depending from the effect you want to achieve. It's possible to use watercolors, but with limitations. Pencils, I think you can use whatever you want, because the paper is really good. I am quite happy with both these pictures, but I think that the left one is more creative because of this interesting color combo of greenish turquoise and burnt carmine. Polychromos pencils, which I used here, work very well. So this one I called Lolita, and this one is Alice. And small sneak peek, I don't know when I posted, but definitely this December. I also did this spread. I hope that you will watch these videos. I did videos for all these girls. Various pencils, it's mix, sometimes polychromoses, sometimes Prismacolors, depending from the color I wanted. But also some backgrounds I did with those Mitsubishi pencils. And again, it's totally possible also to use Sucolor or Arteza. I tested a little bit, and they also were acceptable. A lot of fun, and well, I would love to do something this winter, but maybe I will save all these winter pictures. They are not Christmassy, they simply with winter costumes, with winter dresses, maybe for January or February. But definitely I can recommend this book if you can get it from Amazon Japan or from some other shops. You will enjoy this one. There are lovely girls, there are cats, smaller, bigger pictures, pictures for seasons, so definitely lovely book. And Nelco Neco is a great artist. And finally, it's Aeppol. It's a book with which my relationships, they changed only recently. I had it for a couple of years. I didn't start it at all. I didn't know what will be my what will be my approach, to copy the original art or to do something from myself, and with such doubts I simply hadn't touched it. Then I got a request. I did my first page here. Sorry guys, it's somewhere here. Yeah, this one. And I decided that I will partly copy the original picture and partly I will change colors. You can see small difference in hue of the clouds, hue of the sky, a little bit different colors for the sweets here. But the idea was from the original art. And I realized that on this paper I can use water-soluble media. Paper is very thick, it's artist edition. So I used here polychromoses, Prismacolors, Neocolor crayons. I still adjust to this paper. For me, maybe it's too textured. Sometimes my polychromoses don't want to work on it and to give vibrancy of pencils, and Prismacolors, they smudge. But I'm sure that I will adjust. And you know, after this long period of abandonment, I really want to color almost each picture here. So I hope that in the next months I will have a good progress. I recently did this one and I had to switch from Prismacolors to polychromoses here. Prismacolors simply didn't want to cover texture of paper. They looked very grainy. Usually such things like bricks, stones, or wood I do with Prismacolors, but not this time. In the process I switched to polychromoses and it was a very wise decision. I managed to do even the smallest elements. Yes, I copied idea of colors from the original art, not completely, I changed some of the colors, but I think that it's okay, and that's how I intend to proceed. To use the main idea from the original art. Several elements I wasn't able to recognize here on this page, like the door on the second floor or the lamp here, the chandelier probably. So this one actually was quite helpful. And now I feel much more confident, so wish me luck, because now I really want to play with my watercolors for more interesting backgrounds. And I intend to continue with polychromoses because so far they gave me better result. Well, thank you for watching this part and I will see you very soon.